All right. We are actually live via StreamYard. I am sitting here with Leah. That's Leah Hershberger. That's my daughter. Hi, Leah.
Hello.
It's nice to see you. Nobody is watching us yet, which I would be surprised if anybody was watching because nobody knows about this. But anyhow, that's all part of like being able to advertise when things are coming up. But I wanted to test this out today, and I wanted to talk about the fact that you just graduated 3 days ago from
High Point University.
And where is High Point?
High Point is in North Carolina, right between Charlotte and Raleigh.
Nice. And what made you choose High Point University 4 years ago?
Well, my sister Hannah was the one who told me about High Point University because people in her class had graduated or had gone there. And when I went down to visit, I fell in love with the campus. They had the major that I wanted, and I was just like, I'm definitely going here. This is the best that I toured, for sure.
Well, nice. Well, what major did you choose?
When I started out there, I was broadcast journalism, and then my major just kept changing throughout the years, just kept developing and changing and making it better. So then I ended up with a degree in media production and entrepreneurship.
Nice. Well,
yeah,
excellent. So you chose High Point, and you started there 4 years ago, and I believe you lived where your first year?
I lived in Belk Residence Hall.
So it's a residence hall. Now that, as I recall, that residence hall was on campus. And we should discuss High Point a little bit. High Point is a gated campus, which means the entire campus is surrounded by big, I guess, gates, fencing, essentially. I mean, if you're not supposed to be on campus, you'd have to climb over a gate to get on there. There's a number of access points, but each access point has a guard station, which you show your ID and, and which for me, right. For me as a parent, that made me a whole lot more comfortable that you're walking around on campus, that only the people who are supposed to be on campus should be there, or people that are allowed on campus. So
that was definitely one thing I liked about it.
And you lived on campus your first year, right? You had how many roommates?
I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 roommates.
6 roommates. That's right, because it was like 3 bedrooms, and each bedroom had 2 roommates type thing. But it was a neat location. You were located right in the heart of everything on High Point University. Yeah, it was really good. And you enjoyed your freshman year?
Loved my freshman year. That was definitely the best year.
Well, so why was that the best year?
There was just so much to do freshman year, and there's just I met all my best friends that year, and I just had the best time. That everything was all brand new, and I just had so much fun.
Well, looking at the campus from my point of view, there was just when I went to college back in the 1800s. You had like one little area to get some food and that was it. There was, but then looking at High Point, the amenities there are incredible. Talk about some of the things like your freshman year, that were incredible to you, amenity wise, as far as places to eat and the snack cubbies that they would give you food and water and whatnot. What was that all like?
So every day before classes, there'd be a little kiosk from 7 a.m. to 11. They have little snacks, breakfast, muffins, water, coffee, all that kind of stuff. And then we also had really good restaurants on campus. We had our Prime Steakhouse that we could eat out once a week. That was just a meal swipe. And they had a 3-course meal, and it was just so good. And then I just got involved with a lot of stuff my freshman year. I would play intramural volleyball with my roommates every week, every other day, basically. And that was so much fun. And just being on campus, there's just so much you can do. And being off campus is a little harder because you have to keep going back and forth. But there was just so much to do freshman year that.
In your freshman year, you were right there on campus, so you could. I mean, that's kind of all part about being a freshman and why they want you on campus is because you get involved with all kinds of things. I remember you playing.
They really push you to do so much your freshman year just so you get involved right off the bat.
Right.
I did.
Which is what you did. You made a lot of friends that way, and I made sure you always had food and you were eating healthy, and that's pretty awesome. So you did well your freshman year. You loved your classes, and then your sophomore year, you decided that you weren't going to be living on Belk or on campus. What did you do your sophomore year?
Yeah, so sophomore year, I would have loved to live on campus, but there's no tier 1 housing on campus, which is what I was, because it basically comes with your tuition. I wasn't going to pay more to stay on campus. So
they do have different tiers. If your tier 1 is your basic, but you can go all the way up to a very high tier where you're on luxury accommodations. If you want to, if you want to pay. If you want to pay a lot more money, it's possible. If you've got the resources, you want to do that, fine. But it didn't bother you whatsoever that you couldn't be in.
It was harder to find tier 1 housing, but so me and my roommate Caitlin, we moved off campus to North College Terrace, which is just a mile down the road, not even. And then we would shuttle to campus every day to our classes, and
that was still a High Point University housing, but it was just about a mile off campus, and it was gated.
And we had what we called the diner, which was in our gated community, and it was just where we ate most days, just because it was so easy to walk to.
Right, so it was basically like a diner built into the gated community that you could get food and whatnot, and you had a shuttle bus that ran all the time back and forth between campus and your place, or you could always take your car if you had a car there too. Anything different about sophomore year as far as what made it different from freshman years?
Sophomore year was definitely my hardest year, just because it was just me and my roommate in our little room, and it was just go to class, come back, and we had very opposite schedules. So Caitlin would stay up so late at night. She'd come home at 1 a.m. and then I'd wake up at 6:30, get ready, go to class, and I wouldn't see her the whole day. So it was definitely a harder year because all of my roommates we're all spread out now, and it was just,
Right. It's a transitional year. It's a different year, but it gets you the experience of what it is to live kind of on your own apartment with just a roommate or something, which many people will do once they graduate. They'll go someplace with a job and may end up getting an apartment with somebody, and you got to live. You got to live that way, and you got to enjoy it. And a lot of things going on. I know. Come your junior year, you then lived. You guys got a house near campus.
Yes.
Right.
So we got a house right after the gates. So actually, the houses on my junior year weren't in a gated community. It was right outside the gates. So we lived at 811 Ferris, and I had 7 roommates that year, most of which were in my roommate's sorority. So I lived with all of them, and that was a fun year. It was just so many people in a tiny house. Me and Caitlin shared a very, very small bathroom right outside the kitchen. So it was different, but I liked it. But then I was going to move out to go to the Disney thing, which I did my second half of the semester.
Well, let's talk about your junior year. So your junior year, there were a lot of things happening just on campus-wise. They started building, or they announced building of the Cubain Arena. Is that what they call it? The Nito
Cubain
Arena and Convention Center, Conference Center, which is going to be this. It's not quite finished yet. Pandemic probably threw a corkscrew in that, but it's a big essentially a basketball arena, but of course, other indoor sports and whatnot, and a hotel and a conference center. It's a huge facility, because I think during maybe it was your sophomore year, they hired Tubby Smith, right, as the basketball coach, and he's legendary.
Yeah,
and
I interviewed once. He was very nice.
Right, or exactly. You interviewed him once, and most people might not realize that High Point University is a Division I school. They may not have as many Division I sports as some bigger schools, but they've got the basics. They've got boys or men and women's basketball, lacrosse, soccer, volleyball. They've got the major baseball. They've got the major sports, and it is Division I, and they do compete against big time schools, and they're getting better and better and better. And I think part of his Nito Cubain's vision is to have the the best facilities to bring in the better players and to become, something more as far athletically also an under Division One banner. So that arena is incredible. And just recently with your graduation, they announced a school of dentistry, which they're kicking off besides every other major that High Point offers. And just a quick explanation on High Point, they call it what? God community God something in country school. I forget what the phrase was. It's a life skills school.
Yeah, Premier Life Skills University.
God, community, and country, or something. I forget the.
Yeah, it's on a shirt I have.
But it's all about life skills. It's all about interpersonal skills with people and supporting others, supporting your country. It's a great university that has taught you a lot about life and the life skills that you need to be successful after graduation. And now you're only 3 days after graduation, so we can't really rate it at this point. You've got to start your life off. But so they're doing a lot of things at High Point to make it even better.
New library coming, $60 million library, and then soon they're going to put a hockey arena or hockey rink in.
Wow, that's incredible. So then let's move on to just your senior year. Your senior year, which was this last year. Well, actually, halfway through your junior year, you went into the what?
I got accepted into the Disney College program, which I did in spring of 2020. Right,
which was like right before the pandemic hit, and you were all excited because you get college credit, you get to work at Disney World, which is really kind of your ultimate dream to work at Disney World. So if there are any Disney executives tuning into this live stream and you want to see a wonderful High Point graduate that would love to work in your social media area, right here's Leah Hershberger. Contact her through this YouTube channel if need be. How's that for an advertisement?
That was great. Yeah.
But you did. You got into the Disney College program and you worked really hard. You met some wonderful people, roommates.
Yeah. It was tough at first, really, really tough. But then I ended up loving it. And then, of course, COVID, and then we got to go home.
Then COVID hit, and which cut your program short by a month or two. And I remember flying down on a plane when they said, "Don't fly, you fly, you die." And I said, "Well, no, I gotta go get my daughter." So came down and drove you home. So we were a little sad about that, but at least you had the opportunity, and you made the most of it.
It was a perfect time to do it because my roommate Caitlin was going abroad to New Zealand, and she was only there for like a week, and then she got home. But it was perfect because we just left at the same time.
Right.
It would have been weird if one of us was at school.
Yeah. And the thing was, you got college credits for it. So it's not like it put you a semester behind in graduating.
And I was already ahead of my credits too. Like I was already had, enough to.
Well, you had taken on a good workload in order to prepare yourself for that.
Gen Ed's done my freshman and sophomore year. Like I was done. So that really helped.
That's awesome. That's good. All right. So then you come home, then you prepare for your senior year. In your senior year, you moved into a different house, right?
Yeah. It was only me, Caitlin, and then her little tooch, or Madison. And that was
her little tooch. I was going to say, what's a tooch?
And that was the best house because it was just the three of us, and it was huge, and it was so fun. And we lived by all of our freshman friends, which was a lot of fun. And
again, you were just slightly off campus. You were in a house, but literally you could hit a golf ball onto campus from where you lived. And
this year they added gates so that we had to check in with security before we came in, which was nice just because COVID and everything. So that was really nice because I didn't love just being right off campus and then not having security there.
Right. And speaking of security and campus and COVID, I mean, they did a lot at High Point to protect the students. And at graduation 3 days ago, he announced like 7,500 people on campus, which includes students and workers and everybody. Zero COVID cases.
Yep.
Zero
I
COVID
never
cases.
got COVID when I was there. So that was
And they also provided vaccines for all students and all workers. So you're vaccinated, which is wonderful. But they looked out for you. And High Point didn't close down. You didn't just sit at home and do everything virtually. You probably had a choice, didn't you, if you wanted to?
Yeah. First semester we had a choice.
Yeah, but you didn't have to. And they kept campus open, campus running. And he was I remember when Nito was talking about at the graduation, he was very proud of the fact that High Point did not close down and they did not, send everybody home and say, you got to do it virtually. And of course, as of 3 days ago, zero COVID cases. So that's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah.
And as far as a parent is concerned, this is a university, again, that has made me feel extremely comfortable in knowing that you're 8 hours away or 7 hours away. Because if something happened to you, I can't be there in 20 minutes. Not like when your sister Hannah went to St. Joe's, also a wonderful university, and she had a great time there. But if she had a problem, in 20 minutes I could be there. If you had a problem, I'd have to either hop on a plane, and that would take forever, or I'd have to get in the car and drive 7.5, 8 hours. Yeah. Just to help you out. So the fact that you were so well taken care of. And
you did a good job taking care of people who did have COVID and put them in a hotel, gave them all the food and stuff they needed.
Back when the COVID was spread, when we talk about zero COVID cases, we're saying there's zero cases right now. Yeah. With everybody. But back when the pandemic was big, they did have some cases, and they did quarantine everybody locally in a hotel. Any student was quarantined in a hotel could still do the classes remotely, but they weren't living in the dorms or living anywhere where they could pass it. So they nipped that in the bud just like that. So that was pretty darn awesome. So let's go your senior year, right? What was very different about your senior year as opposed to your freshman year?
It was all very different. My classes were definitely much harder. But they were all centered around my major, which was good, but it was just harder, a lot more work than what I was used to. And, there's definitely not as much to do as freshman year, but still because you're a senior, they have so many activities and stuff for you to do and get involved in. And then just my housing was, I think, much better than my freshman year, just because it was 3 of us, and everyone I knew around me, all my neighbors we were all very close, which was good. But
now you were also, we forgot to even mention, you were also in a sorority, right?
I joined a sorority my sophomore year.
Right, actually, say it again.
Alpha Gamma Delta.
Alpha Gamma Delta. There you go. And we talked about that in your freshman year. We thought it would be good to join your sophomore year, so you weren't really distracted in your freshman year with everything else you had to do. And I think joining the sorority your sophomore year was a great idea. And I know you made a lot of friends and connections there for life.
Yeah, Hannah didn't join a sorority till her sophomore year, and she said that was so much better. So I was like, all right, I'll wait. And then when Caitlin went through her recruitment freshman year, I was like, well, now I don't have anything to do. She has all these friends. But then I was so glad to join my sophomore year, because there was just too much going on freshman year for me to even think about joining one. And then I made so many friends my sophomore year joining my sorority. I don't think I would have made them if I did it my freshman year.
Right. Yeah.
Great GAM fam and everything. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's all part of the big experience. Is you make a lot of connections and lifelong friends and things, and that's pretty darn wonderful. I'm very, very proud of you as far as that's concerned as well. So that really leads us all up to your last semester here, which was still pandemic related, but you were on campus and you were social distance and masked, but you still enjoyed yourself. And we come down to graduation, which was just this last Saturday, May 8th, right?
Yeah.
And what a wonderful graduation ceremony and day they put together. I mean, obviously they had to do it outside, and it was a beautiful day, beautiful weather-wise.
Yeah.
I think around 1,000 graduates, I think the number was. And there was about 10,000 total people there. So you talk about 1,000, call it 1,000 graduates and faculty. Yeah, like 9,000 family members and friends and things that were there. And it really, at no point did I feel like I was in the middle of a monster crowd,
No, when I was walking through it, I was like, when he said there are 10,000, I was like, 10,000 people here? What? Like,
yeah.
what?
Well, every seat was filled, and they knew how many seats they had. But the speaker was, I forget her last name,
Cynthia Marshall.
They called her Cint Marshall. She's president of the Dallas Mavericks basketball. What a wonderful speech she did. It was very, very inspiring. It was very good. Nito was funny and had a good time. I remember then, here we now bestow upon you the Bachelor of Arts. And then there it was coming across the stage, Leah Hershberger. How'd that feel whenever you heard your name?
Oh my God. Well, I just remember like walking up the stairs and I was like, oh my God, I really hope I don't trip. I was really, really nervous about that. But then I remember the guy in front of me, they couldn't scan his old ticket. So he was taking forever. And I was like, come on, dude, like, come on, I need to go. So then they called my name. I don't even remember hearing my name. I just remember taking the thing. I was like, smile, smile, smile. And then they were like, great, stand here. And I was like, And then I was like, thank you, Dr. Provane, for everything. And he was like, oh, yeah, like force whatever. And I was like, okay. It was just crazy. And then I looked out and I was like, wow, there's definitely a lot of people here. Like,
yeah.
So, but I heard like everyone screaming my name. Like I definitely heard Caitlin yelling, and I was like, that was just a cool feeling. But I remember like, all my friends go by and I like on the stage watching them, and I was just like got chills, and I was like, so nuts.
Well, it's kind of funny because, as I said, we discussed. I thought your name was coming up later, but because of people that were missing or they didn't have the scan, whatever it may be. Yeah. I basically just got my camera up in time as they went, Leah Hershberger. So I got that on video. I got it.
I'm glad you did.
I was just like, whoa, and at the same time I was holding my cell phone up, view clicksing with Pop so he could watch everything. But when they said your name, I definitely think I heard Hannah screaming.
Oh yeah, I heard
because if you hear it on the video, it's like, woo, woo, and I'm like, well, it's got to be your sister about 30 rows behind me or whatever it was.
I heard Caitlin like, she was like, yeehaw or something. I was like, oh, why are you screaming that?
Yeehaw.
Oh my God.
But what an exciting time though. And I think overall your experience at High Point was just wonderful, wouldn't you think?
It was the best 4 years. It went by way too fast. Like I can't believe it's over.
Yeah. Well, I was doing a little video of my own, in my retrospective way that I am. And I was talking to some friends about the same thing. And it's funny. It's like, I got emotional over the fact that your 4 years is over, and what a beautiful, I would just like, I'd be so emotional. I wouldn't want to leave the university. And you were probably emotional. I think you said you were by leaving your friends and things like that, but it wasn't so much emotional leaving the university because you're graduating and you're moving on. And a lot of the reason for that is because you're young and you did grade school, you did middle school, you did high school, and you look forward to college, and now you're looking forward to the next thing. Me as an old person, there's not a whole lot to look like. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I don't look forward to the next thing. And therefore, I look back more often. I look more retrospective and go, oh. But it's not like that with young people as much, because I remember being young. And I remember, college, okay, done. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely sad. Like when I was leaving, like the Column building, I was like, oh, it's the last time I'll be in there. Or like just driving around campus, I was like, yep, last time. And then just like leaving campus on graduation day, I was like, that's so weird that I won't be back on campus, like actually like on campus for a while, or if I, go back to visit. It was, but I was really sad when I left my roommates, and, because I was like, obviously I'll see them again. It's just like, you don't know when, or you don't, like, it's not going to be the same.
Sure. It's all different.
But yeah, I was definitely sad. That was definitely bald. My eyes out.
But that's all right. And it was a great experience. And that's why you were a little bit sad, because you had a great experience at High Point University. And, as a parent, I can't be thankful enough. Oh, I hear Zane or Nova. Probably Zane.
Yeah.
But I can't be thankful enough for everything that they did for you as a student, as a person. You know, it's just fantastic. So, and that's why I wanted to kind of create this video that people could watch and see your entire experience at High Point and how good it really was for you. And as your parent, I can vouch that, you know, it was a wonderful experience for me watching you go through it safely and successfully. So it's good. So now you're at a High Point. You'll be job hunting and doing some things. You've got some feelers around and working that direction. And you're back with Hannah, and we'll see what life holds for you. But you're a High Point graduate, so you know you got the skills and the background to be the best you can be. And you know, hopefully somebody from Walt Disney World will see this and say that is the person for us. Well, Leah, I love you. You are the best. I'm very proud of you. As I was very proud of your sister Hannah as well. 4 years ago, or longer, was it 4 years ago? When she got her bachelor's at St. Joe's, then her master's at St. Joe's, and now she's applying for a PhD doctorate program. She's doing fantastic as well. So I'm very, very proud of both of you guys, young ladies, young women. And thank you for doing this live YouTube stream and talking about your time at High Point. That's about it. I just wanted to say thank you. I hope you had a good time. And we will talk to you probably momentarily after I end this whole thing. But we actually have 2 people watching the video. I'm not sure who it is, but
really?
Yeah, somebody's watching. So hi, this really was a test video for a project that I have coming up very shortly with my friend David Bash. But I wanted to test out how this whole works. So I said, let me get my daughter Leah online. We'll do a entire High Point University retrospective and test how this whole thing works. And I think it worked pretty darn well. And I appreciate your time, sweetheart. And later on this week, we'll get together for some dinner and some crokinole and carom.
Sounds good.
All right. We're gonna end the video. Thank you again, sweetheart. Love you.
You're welcome. Love you too.
Okay, bye.